public last week, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison asked Hennepin County Judge Peter Cahill, the judge who sentenced former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin to 22.5 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd, well, he asked him to amend his sentencing memorandum. Ellison did not ask the judge to increase Chauvin's sentence. Instead, he wants the judge to correct the public record to, quote, more accurately reflect the experiences, end quote, of the children who witnessed George Floyd's murder and to prevent them further harm by discounting the trauma they experienced, end quote. Now, under Minnesota law, the presumptive sentence for someone convicted of second-degree murder is 12.5 years. If a judge decides there are aggravating factors, that sentence can be doubled. Now here, Cahill did find aggravating factors, such as Chauvin's position as a police officer and the cruelty he showed to George Floyd. Cahill initially said the presence of children at the scene was also an aggravating factor, but then decided there was not enough evidence that those child witnesses experienced significant trauma. Now, Cahill's failure to recognize the trauma experienced by black girls in particular and the impact that sentencing memo can now have on society is what we're going to dig into now. And joining me to break all of it down is attorney and legal analyst Monique Pressley and psychiatrist and author of The Courageous Classroom, Creating a Culture of Safety for Students to Learn and Thrive, Dr. Janet Taylor. Thank you both so much for being with me. Monique, let's start with you. Judge Cahill initially found the presence of children as one of the 4 aggravating factors that justified giving Derek Chauvin a higher sentence, and then went back and said, you know what, maybe not in this final sentencing memorandum. So is it unusual for a judge to reconsider something like that, and why do you think he did?
Well, first, no, not unusual to lay out the factors that can be considered, that he can hear evidence on or hear argument from both sides regarding in determining what the enhancement should be. So that part, not unusual, and going along with some of them and not others, not unusual. Here's where it gets, to me, sticky to the point of absurd, right? In that he doesn't just decide against utilizing, for the purposes of sentencing, the fact that there were minors present. He speaks in the opinion and says that although the state argues that these girls, not young women, but girls, were traumatized, that there isn't evidence of that, objective evidence of that in the record. Now, keep in mind, in the record, we have the testimony of Darnella Fraser where she says she can't sleep at night. She thinks about it all day long, wondering if there's something more that she could do, and being sorry and feeling laden with guilt. We had a sweet 9-year-old girl who is wondering why all the adults around aren't doing more, and wanting the officer to stop, being able to see clearly. And these are children who watched a man not just die, but be killed. So I know that you have a brilliant medical doctor who's trained in the way that these things should be explained, who can explain it better than I can. But it's just very obvious, as someone who has dealt with these matters for years, that what's happening here is just what Keith Ellison said: the adultification of Black youth, Black girls. And we see this in so many things where we are objectified, where we are looked at and treated as adults before our time, where our pain, the pain of our girls, is not considered to be significant. These are all things that were happening here in the judge's decision.
And Monique, you mentioned the adultification of young girls, and by all legal definitions, Darnella Fraser and her cousin are still girls. Before Keith Ellison filed his letter, and Dr. Janet, let's bring you in on this, there was an outpouring of rage on Twitter from many prominent Black feminists like Kimberly Crenshaw, who said this discounts the experiences of Black girls, and they referenced that Black girls as young as 9 were referred to actually in the sentencing memo as young Black women. So why does that adultification happen?
Well, it happens. I think you can trace it back to a long history of systemic racism and racialization, where even if you go back to slavery, where Black people were felt, treated like we could tolerate more pain, and to justify capitalized racism or slavery, kids were sent to farms and impregnated young girls with just a complete discount of who they were as human beings. And this judge, it's more than a missed opportunity. It's a double tragedy, because he had an example to highlight the impact of trauma on young girls. Dr. David Williams, who is a sociologist from Harvard, has done studies that show that in Black communities, when unarmed Black men and women are killed, it leads to almost 30% higher rates of depression and missed time at work. And white people in the same community have no adverse effects at all. So there is evidence to show that when a young person and certainly young children and even adults witness the murder, the killing of Black people by the police, it has a long-term impact. And so what really was missed here was the opportunity to talk about the impact of trauma, the treatment of trauma, and the significance of it. You did not have to be there to feel the impact of witnessing the murder of George Floyd. So you can only imagine the pain that these young girls, and Darnella Frazier talked about it, are still going through. So that adultification has a long history. We know that there are school teachers who, when they look at young boys in particular, they see them as up to 5 years older and will treat them and discipline them in that way. So we really have to harness and identify these attacks, for lack of a better word, as they occur, label them as wrong and systemic, and find a way to make them right.
And real quick, Dr. Janet, in the memo, it was mentioned that these young women were giggling and laughing, therefore they could not be traumatized, which strikes me as the reaction of children. Is that what you saw when you read that in your expertise?
And it's not just the reaction of children. I mean, when people are nervous and you don't know what else to do, there are a number of behaviors if someone was videotaping you and analyzing you that can occur. I've seen adults in situations that are not funny at all, who are professionals, who may laugh or nervously say something. So again, I think it was used as a wrong justification and missing what really happened there. And what happened there was young girls, and they were girls, witnessed the murder of an unarmed Black man on a street. And they could have laughed, they could have been playing hopscotch, they could have done whatever they needed to, and that still would not say that we can take away whatever psychological impact that had on how they felt, unless someone actually talked to them in real time, and that didn't happen.
And Monique, before we go, I want to get the last word from you. Why is it important for this sentencing memo to be updated? What will that do for the public record?
It is a validation of facts. And that's what these sentencing memos and any decision by a judge, especially in such a kind of landmark, high-profile case such as this, and it's so rare for a police officer to be convicted, never mind to get the type of sentence that he got. So I did agree with the judge's sentence, but if the judge had decided it's going to be 22 years, it's going to be 22 and a half years, he still, in doing the justification for it, could have found a way to validate the experiences of these witnesses. I mean, think about it. These were all minors whose adult parent or guardian had to consent to them testifying. They were re-victimized themselves through coming forward and doing something that many adults are not brave enough to do. The very least that should be done is that in the annals of history, when people look back on this case and on the record of the case, it is documented accurately that there were young girls, that there were juveniles who came and testified and experienced trauma through the witnessing of a murder. That's just the right thing to do.
And indeed, as you mentioned, this case will be read and taught in law school for years to come. Attorney and legal analyst Monique Pressley, psychiatrist and author Dr. Janet Taylor, thank you both for this conversation tonight.